design elements, the mind, and the brain. And seriously, I love that part. Like seriously, when I was thinking about design elements, if I'm to ask you, how many of us even know what design element that guy talks about? You get so even many designers don't even know the elements of design. So people just, it's funny when you just a book or draw Photoshop or all these spells and you be like, wow, let me just create something. Let me just...
We can all hear you. We can hear you. That's a very good recap from the class. I'm still hoping that Mr. Michael join us soon. So these are just the basics of designs that we have to really understand if you want to work effectively as a designer. So is key to design because as like Mr. Michael said, that is a two-way communication. Design is not complete when the receiver does not fully understand what you are trying to pass. There's a thing I say a lot. I said, communicate, don't decorate. Designers always have a thing like probably they're just pushing pixels around. They just want to do something that is like play with aesthetics. Design is really more than that. You have to understand that you want to communicate, and if the communication is
psychology of design and master it. I will give you a few points that you need to know, and I will give you like 6 of them. So if you want to learn and master this psychology of design, because it's very, very important. Now I was telling you about Pepe, Maggie, then, you understand? And all right, I will just talk about color. When I will finish this one, so I will talk about color. When you leave that pepper without putting pepper and salt inside the soup, it doesn't make sense. So it will reduce the taste, and nobody will enjoy the soup. So let me quickly give you the points that you need to understand if you want to learn and master psychology of design. The first one is take time and think. Always take time to think as a designer and reflect. Think very well and reflect. When you get a job from anybody, don't just rush into it. Sit down, think very well about the work, and in your own time, your own leisure time, just take your time and think. Think about life, think about nature, think about things around you. It's very, very easy to help you, because when you sit down and think very well, it helps you to get ideas. It helps you to understand things, why things happen, or about nature, because there are some things you can get from natural things or objects around you. There are some ideas you can get from them. So learn to think as a designer is very, very important. Another thing is that observe objects around, both natural objects, physical objects, inanimate objects, anything around you, observe them. It will help you to really master the science of the psychology of design, another thing around it. Another thing is that learn and master the element of design and the statement. Learn and master the element of design and their statement. You can't go far. You can't do much in design. I've emphasized things that you can't do much without you understanding how elements works, their statements, how they work, and things around it. Like, you take your time and learn. You need to take up a course, take it up and learn it, invest into that area, like a master it. It makes the job easier for you. The next thing is that fill your mind with good designs. Don't put in your mind on junk designs. When you see bad designs, don't allow your mind to dwell more on it.
Mr. Michael, God bless you. God bless you for that. God bless you. Okay.
Thank you. So always go around and look for good designs. There's something that is doing in your mind. It's storing up your mind. So if you are feeding your eyes on bad designs, definitely you must produce bad results. Anything that takes your attention, it translates your action. If you're not careful, it takes your time like that. So don't waste time on bad designs. Invest your mind on good design. It will help you. With another thing is that interact with your element of design. Don't just look at the element and try to understand their statement. When you get their statement, interact with the statement. There's a way you interact with your elements, and it gives you more meaning. It gives you more interpretation of that element, and you can do a lot of things with the element if you interact with them. Interact with them, take them out from their confined zone, and see how you can bring something out of them. Interact with your elements. And the last one is that master the fundamental of design, the core fundamentals of design. We have principles, we have elements, and other things, typography, we have many of them like that. interact with them, understand them very well, and know how to use them. These things will help you to understand the psychological of design, because without them, you cannot know anything much about design. You can just put things together, go to Pinterest, go to other sites, copy them, and put them together. People will hail you, hey, you have done well. But your work is not making sense. It doesn't communicate anything. And that is the end goal of your work as a designer. So I'm trying to rush because I want to talk a little also about color. That's the end goal of your design. If you cannot communicate, it doesn't make any sense. So try as much as possible and take your time to understand how these things work. Your mind is very, very important in anything you do. So let's go straight to color. Color. I love color so much. I love color and I love to interact with color. It is very, very important. It's one of the key elements in design that you cannot toy with, because your knowledge of color will give birth to your output, your outcome. If you don't know about color, you see, there are some works you see. The owner of the world, the designer, will just put different colors, believing that being colorful like that will make the work a master class. It doesn't make sense. Let your color speak, and let me quickly go to the definition I have about color. I have a definition about color that I coined out from my own experience. As a color is a chromatic element. Color is a chromatic element that dictates feelings, or imposes sensation. It imposes a form of sensation on you through the breakdown of white light. Now, this is what it means. I said color. Okay, I will come back to that. Someone said that he doesn't understand the parts, or say communicate about it with the element. I will still come to that. Please, after this talk about color, remind me. I will come up with that. I will explain to you. Now, what I'm saying about color is that color is a chromatic element that dictates feelings or imposes sensation through a breakdown of white light. Without light, there's no color. When the light went up the other time, everything went black. Nothing like color, nothing like white color, nothing like any color. Why? Because there was no light. So I will not waste time on that, because I know you understand color very well. So I say that it brings a feeling. Color gives you a feeling. It simulates a feeling from either you or your audience, or it stimulates or instill kind of a sensation you have. There's a kind of sensation you have because you see a color. That's why color is very, very important in your design. Color is very, very important. How you use your color, because you can use a color that will push your client, your people away, your audience away, and you can use color that will attract them, and will speak more about what you're doing. Now, what color does in design is like it attracts like your audience. Hello? I see something.
Sorry, I think somebody on their mic, so I've off the person's mic.
Okay, thank you. So it attracts the people to what you do, and that attraction is like a magnet that brings them close to that thing, to observe that thing more, and from there they can understand the story behind what you do. So color is very, very important in your design, and it has its own story too. It adds more color, it has more taste to what you do as a designer. So without color, without light, there's nothing like color. And color communicates a lot. It communicates a lot. Now, what you should know about this issue of color is that it arouses ideas, suggestions, feelings, and many more. And now, color is used based on context. Color should be regarded based on context. What color red means in a heart shape like this. When you see that heart shape, the color of love is not red, it is blue. But we use red to paint her because of the heart, the color of the heart, the blood, the kind of blood attached to feelings, things like that. Now, what color red means, using it on heart, is different from when you see a blaze of flame and it's painted in red, is different from it. That's why I say color should be interpreted based on context. It's very, very important, because what it means in A might be different from B. So don't use the same story, the same meaning you have in A and B together because you think it's just beautiful. No, you have to make sure that you use your color based on context, so that the story will align with the work you're working on. It will align with the story you have with you, because color influences a lot of things in you. It has a lot of things to do with you. So let me bring it down to a kind of a printing, or let me say design industry now. For instance, we have different type of color form. We have RGB, we have CMYK, RGB, CMYK. We have other ones. What is monotone, all these things. But I want to focus on this too. Now, I like to advise designers that before you step into your design work, ask your clients, are you printing this work or is just for online display? Why am I saying this? It helps your settings. It helps you in your settings before you start the work, because I've experienced some things in the past that after I finish the whole work using a particular form, I have to go back again and reconvert. It was like starting work all over again, so it can fit into the form they want to use for the printing. So ask your clients that, are you printing this work or you are going to use it online as an e-format? Now, RGB is meant for e-format or digital prints. If you are doing direct prints, RGB is nice, it's perfect, it's nice, okay for it. But when you are doing this separation that you have to do plates, lithography and other things like that, see what MK is very, very important you use. If you don't use it, those printers out there, they don't know much about all this professionalism in design. They don't know much about them. The others that bring them to me and I print for you. Some of them are good, so you give it to them and start having issue about their color not setting together in your printing. So ask them, because it's nice for you to know about this before you start the work itself. Now, color has different types. We have red, we have yellow, we have blue, we have purple, all these things. Master the classes of color. Master the classes of color. Classes of color, we have primary, we have secondary, we have intermediate, and all these things are there. And when you master them, the one that is very, very important you need to master is a scheme of color. It's not enough for you to stop at types or classes. You need to step it up by mastering scheme of color, where we have monotone, monochromatic, we have polychromatic, we have achromatic, we have all this square, rectangular shape, all things like that. We have them plenty. Master them, because these are the things that tells you, they tell you how to combine A with B. Which color can you combine with another color? How can you play on your color palettes to bring out a meaningful color plan? Color scheme actually means color plan. It means color plan. Master the scheme of color is very, very important. You might know that this one is a primary color, secondary color, intermediate, tertiary, all this, you might know them. Good, fine. You might know that we have blue, red, purple, and yellow. We have them, plenty. Yes, fine. It is not enough. What tells you that if you combine yellow together with purple, it will be nice, it will be fantastic? What tells you that if you combine blue with orange, it goes together very well? What tells you that if you combine red with green, it's very perfect? That is where scheme of color comes in. Scheme of color teaches you how to use your palettes. Which color can you combine together your palette? It makes you see the visible ending of your work without even starting it. And it makes you know the right color to choose and combine together. Mas, I really wish you have enough time on this talk today. But I've talked about based on what I'm telling you now. Go and make your research, you understand? Learn the scheme of color. Designers are using color in a bad way. And it's like you are creating war on your design. And you cannot even stop the war by yourself. That's how it is. That's what we call color riot. Some people call it color riot, but it's not as possible like that. So please take your time and master the scheme of color. It's very, very important. And it will teach you how to value color and work with color. It's very, very important, because if you don't do that, your work will have an issue. Now, what will make you understand that this color goes for female, this color goes for male, this color goes for children, this color goes for adults, youth, or maybe elderly people, or a baby? They have different categories like that. And you must understand them very well for you to apply them so that it will fit into what you are doing as a designer. I think with this, we have done something tonight about psychology of color, psychology of design and color. So if you have any question about what we have talked so far, please ask. So I want to talk about that one. Someone said that he doesn't understand the
psychology.
element. Yeah. Now, how do you interact with your element? Number one, for instance, when let's say we want to use red color, for instance, or you want to use a rectangular shape or a heart shape, interacting with your element means that you lift the element out of the level of being an element. You bring it out your front as a picture. Someone who can talk, who can really talk to you, we can see, I can see you too. You don't begin to dissect that element. This is red color. Now, what makes this one is still feeling when I use it? What makes someone see this red on a heart shape and begin to have meaning to it? Get the point now. Now you now bring it out that level of lifting out what is really the story inside the element and bring it to like you experiencing it. You get it now? You experiencing the feeling. You looking deeply into the color and experience. There was time, for instance, when I was coming up, for instance, I got to a point whereby I would just sit down like this, looking at the wall. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right. I got to a point whereby after I studied a lot about all these things, and I got to a point whereby when I sit down, looking at a wall, for instance, a wall, I'll be seeing moving objects on the wall. I'll be seeing cracks on the wall, making meaning, making sense, forming a shape, forming something that I can interpret. Because I studied art in school, actually. So this thing takes me to a level of, I don't see that as a crack anymore. I interact with the crack on the wall. I interpret the crack on the wall, and I began to see life on the crack on the wall. And when I now tell somebody, I say like, can't you see this thing on the wall? I say, what? I know they say anything though. Why? Because the person has not developed that sense of carrying life from just an object, a line, getting life from it, and see that in breathing. It has not gotten that point. That's why he cannot see what I'm saying. So it's about you mastering something, learning that thing, and allow that thing to become part of you. Take it from the context of that thing it is, bring it to a life that you can interact with. It's as if you are talking to the elements, and it brings back to you, and you get more sense, you get more understanding of that element. I can see a dot placed at the corner of a page, and I'll tell you that it means this. You can increase an object, a text on a page, and I'll tell you that it makes a meaning. It represents something. You can put a text downward of the page of your design. I'll tell you that it means something. So you must get to that level of getting that level of interpreting your element easily without you having difficulty, and it fits into your story you are really working on. So that's how it interacts with your element.
Awesome session there. That was really awesome.
Thank you very much.
The way you are. I've seen different teachers. Personally, I'm a teacher also, and the way you teach, it shows that you really understand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Because you have really, thank God that we are recording. So you cannot get the full grasp of this class just by watching this session. You need to rewatch and understand what Mr. Michael is teaching us is awesome. So I know that a few of us, we don't have much time. We only seek for Mr. Simeon Michael's time just for him to quickly just come on the session. We don't have all the whole time. So if you have, I will really, okay, we don't even have much time. So I ask just one question so that they can answer it to us. I believe from the way, there's different way of teaching. There's when somebody teach that even a small child can understand. That is the way he has taught. So if you have any question, most of them he has answered it in his class. So just one person, somebody raised their hand there. So let me quickly. Okay. Yeah, come on. I saw your raising of hand. So quickly ask your question. Just one question.
Okay. Good evening. Let me just ask this question. If anybody's not raising up his hand now. And the question is to Mr. Simeon.
can you probably give us any platform we can learn more about color scheme and all about colors? Because the way you actually nailed color this evening, I'm like, wow, I didn't even know anything about color before. Like, I see everything's just pale and like I don't know. So if there's any platform you can actually probably give us so we can actually learn and read more about colors, probably a book or something, please. I don't know if you can help us with that, please. Thank you.
Okay, awesome question. Mr. Simeon,